Hey guys, you know how some people say that if you're an angry Game of Thrones fan, you should just shut up and write something better yourself? Well, I've decided to do that. I have spent the last 9 years writing 6 fantasy books, spanning well over 500,000 words, 3,000 years of lore, 30 cultures, and have now hired a team of exceptional artists to bring it to life. So let's talk about it. The power system of my world is inspired by the fiction that I loved most growing up, including Avatar: The Last Airbender, X-Men, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, Atlantis, and many more. To start, the powers of my world are called talents, though across history they have had many different names from gifts to blessings, but the main thing you need to know is how talents spread and change. Normally, we would just start with where they come from, but that is kind of a mystery. None of the scholars, historians, or biologists can really agree on that. The priests of Centralis believed that their god of light, Gartharius, bestowed talents onto his first followers, Telectus and more, who then in turn gave talents to everyone else. The Rhaegyri of the East believed that the highest gods in their pantheon, the Wraiths, watch over all people and bestow their divine power through sheer presence, granting talents. However, the scientific guild of Loctarians believe talents and the powers they produce are strictly a product of genetics and mutations, and it's easy to see why they think that. Talents are passed down from generation to generation, so there must be some type of biological component there. Currently, the most common talent in the world is telekinesis. If a man with telekinesis has a child, it is likely that that child will also inherit that talent. If a father and a mother have telekinesis, the chances of that child getting it are even greater. Or the child could be born with no talent. Genetics are weird that way.
If any of you are earthbenders, come with me.
I'm an earthbender. I'm not.
However, things do get a bit more complicated when we get into who the parents are. See, there are 2 continents, the North and the South. Northerners naturally do not have talents. They do, though, have extraordinary bodies. Northerners barely need to eat or sleep. They feel much less pain than others, and they become physically mature around 13 years old and regularly live until about 120. So while they technically don't have superpowers, their bodies are superhuman. Honestly, the Northerners are an absolutely insane group of people, so if you want to find out more, I actually have a book focused entirely on them and dragons coming out very soon. I'll keep you guys updated on that, and I'll put a link in the description for that book and my other books down below. Now, Southerners, on the other hand, have bodies and lifespans like you and me, but they can also have talents. But what happens when a talented man has a kid with a Northern woman? Well, that child has the chance to be born with a whole new talent. This is how many historians believe talents became so diverse. Let's use the 3 southwestern nations as an example. Centralis was chock full of people with telekinesis across the ages. But as northerners immigrated south and merged with Centralis, the children of these unions didn't have telekinesis, but a mutation, telepathy. Eventually, there were so many of these telepaths that they started a country of their own, the Kingdom of Astoria, now known as the Commonwealth of Expia. But of course, Northerners didn't stop going south and having kids with Southerners, and this led to another mutation of talents. From telepathy came mind control. These people became known as taskers for being able to dominate the will of both people and animals, and eventually founded their own country, Thrannen, though it split up into multiple territories where individual clans fight for power. Now, imagine this cycle where talents mutate across generations, but for the entire world, all across history. Then you'll get a scope of just how many talents there are. Some have even become a staple of society. There are those that can heal wounds and diseases just by hovering their hands over you. These healers dominate the medical field. Some people can grow whole fields of crops and plants in a day, feeding hundreds or thousands. And because of telepaths that can transfer knowledge, the world was able to adopt a common tongue called Arinian so that everyone could understand each other if necessary. But not all of these talents are equal, nor are the people who wield them. In the vast majority of cases, nobles are much more powerful with their talents than the peasants, and that's because of tektites. These are mysterious crystals that can only be found in nature, not artificially constructed or copied. And when a talented person is in proximity of a Tektite, their talent becomes more powerful. This has led to Tektites becoming immensely expensive and immensely coveted by the nobility and royals. You'll often find the upper class decked out in Tektite jewelry or rings, or even having them incorporated into their crowns. An average man with telekinesis might be able to lift a log with his talent, but the royal family can throw boulders over mountains. This creates an interesting dynamic in the world where power isn't just a concept anymore, it's quite literal. And the social dynamics and the society at large have changed because of it. But to find out more about that, or why all talented people in the North were killed off, you'll just have to read the books where this lore is taken from. I'll put a link in the description below so you can check them out for yourself. Still, what you've seen here is just the tiniest fraction of a glimpse of both my world and the art I've commissioned for it. If you want to learn more, keep your eyes open for more videos like this, or check out my books on my website. And please, if I have piqued your interest with anything and you have questions, let me know down in the comments and let me know what else you want me to make lore videos on. I have a lot planned. Anyway, thanks for watching all the way until the end. Make sure to leave a comment, like, and subscribe. And as always, it was a pleasure, and I'll talk to you all again soon.